Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And for those of you that this is your first time joining, thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be making a zippy clutch. The pattern is by Amy Butler of AmyLynneDesigns, and she has been very gracious in allowing me to do this video. Now there's a little twist on how I am going to be making it. I am going to be making it in jelly vinyl. Now this pattern is very popular. It's been around for a while, and it's a quick, easy sew on the normal one, and doing it in jelly vinyl is even quicker. You will definitely get addicted to this pattern in both variations, the normal and this one. Now there are a little bit of things that I need to tell you about this, but first, to get your pattern, you want to go over to AmyLynneDesigns.com. She has a website, and she also has an Etsy shop. You can get the pattern at either one. She also has a package where you can get the add-ons that have the slip pocket and the credit card slots. Now this one I did not make with either of those because I wasn't sure that the jelly vinyl would handle it. It might be too thick for it, so I left those out of this. So you will use the pattern pieces. You will cut everything out the same, except you will cut two strips here. These two strips are cut at 6 1/4 by 1/2 inch wide. You'll want two of those. This piece here will be cut the same as the pattern. These two pieces are cut the same as the pattern. And then your lining piece, which is right here, and your exterior back piece are cut the same as the pattern. The zippers are cut at the same length as the pattern. Now you can use a number 3 here. That's what she recommends, but I did this in a number 5 zipper. This one here was my first one, and I did this one in a number 3 zipper. But it doesn't matter. Either one is fine, whichever you choose. Then I put a wristlet on this one, and my wristlet is measured at 14 by 1.5 inches. And my back band that I put on it is measured at the same length as this front band, but it is only cut at 1 inch wide. You can make it wider if you want. That's totally up to you. It's your bag. So another thing I wanted to tell you about, one thing I want to backtrack on this. I don't know if I would use the 2 extra lining pieces in here. You can try it by all means if you want, but I think it might make it a little too thick. You'll have a hard time turning even if you use the blow dryer method, and I just think it will make it too thick and it won't look right, but you can. And also, you want to be aware that when you sew this front piece together, that it is going to be a little bit bigger than your lining piece. It's going to hang over maybe 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch on both sides. Just go ahead and trim it down, no big deal. But make sure that you trim this piece down. Don't trim down your back piece, and don't trim down your lining. You want this to be measured to your lining piece and your back piece. Those need to stay the same, okay? And the reason why that is because you're not doing your zipper the normal way. You're just laying it flat, and then you're laying these pieces, taping these pieces down, and then you are sewing them. There's none of this sewing it, folding it over, and top stitching here. You're laying these pieces down and top stitching on this. And you'll see once you start watching my video. So this is what we will be making today. Let's get sewing, girls and guys. I needed to tell you a trick if you have never sewn with jelly vinyl before. I want to show you this. Excuse my mess. I usually put tape down on mine because jelly vinyl and clear vinyl tend to stick on this metal. So I put a piece of tape here, a piece of tape here, piece of tape in the back, and usually a piece of tape across the front too. But I make sure that I leave this feed dog hole open. So I'll put the tape all around that hole. Now, for today, I used this paper tape. But you can use paper tape, you can use packing tape. The best thing I find to use for it is like a clear packing tape because it's wide. It's like, what, 1.5 inches, 2 inches wide. And you can put it down on here. You can put it here, here, and over here. It does get a little sticky when you take it off, so you'll have to clean this with rubbing alcohol and a paper towel or gauze piece or whatever you use to clean your machine. This does not get sticky. This does not leave a residue behind. Packing tape does, so there will be cleaning afterwards. But the clean is better because then you have your markings on your machine visible if you need to use those. I don't use my markings that often because I've used this machine enough. I know where to put my material to get the right length. Another thing, your tension may be off on the back. It may be, you might have a loose tension, or your threads may look kind of zigzaggedy. So you'll want to mess with your tension too. I use a number 14 needle when I sew jelly vinyl, and I use Tex 6970 thread on my machine. I usually don't have to mess with this one very much when I'm adjusting my tension for jelly vinyl. It's this top one here that I have to dial in a lot to get it to the right tension. So just be aware of that you will probably have to mess with your tension. Make sure you keep your feed dogs down, in the down position, because I find out on my machine when I sew jelly vinyl or the clear vinyl, it makes marks on the back of it and it tends to rip it. So I discovered that if you put your feed dogs down, that's a good thing. And I've heard a lot of other girls say that too, that they put their feed dogs down when they do that. So feed dogs down, tape this plate so your jelly doesn't stick, and dial in your tension how you need to. Okay? So let's get sewing this. Okay, now that we have brought our pieces over to the machine, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to put our tabs on the end of our zippers. So you want to take the one that has just the one piece of tape on it, and you are going to put it on there on the bottom, and you want it like that. And we're going to sew at 1/8 of an inch across the top here. And you do want to back stitch, just 1 or 2 tacks. Then you're going to take that and you're just going to fold it up like that as best you can. Now you can put a piece of tape across here to make it stick if you would like to. But I'm just going to fold mine up there and stitch across there. Probably probably 1/8 of an inch again, and back tack. And you want to already put your zipper pull on. Sorry, I should have told you that before. Make sure your zipper pull is on. Now, what I'm going to do, because I tend to move this zipper around, I'm going to stitch across the top here so my zipper pull doesn't come out. Because I accidentally did that on one of them, and I had to put my zipper on upside down, and it was, how was that doing that? Oh, it was pulling this way instead of this way. Just go across there a couple times just to secure that on there. So in case you get rambunctious like I did, you don't accidentally pull that zipper tab off. I need me a little bucket up here, even though I got a trash can down in there. Okay, set that one off to the side. Then we do our longer one. Take the one that has the piece of tape on this side and the piece of tape on the back. Take the tape off. Stick it on there at the very edge. Center it. Then you're going to stitch across there at 1/8 of an inch. Back tack. And if anybody's interested or curious, I am sewing on a sale, right, Fabricator. It is the deluxe package, and the only thing about only difference about the deluxe and the regular package is the table. The deluxe, you get a butcher block table. The regular package, you get one of those white tables like you get with a Juki. And I think it's like $500 more for this table, maybe $7. Probably $7 now. So then you want to fold this up and then fold it over. And it's going to be kind of tricky with vinyl, with this jelly vinyl, because jelly vinyl is kind of hard. But you only want about that much. And we're going to stitch across there. And I usually do it in the center. That way I know that I'm catching the back piece. Oops. What did I do? What did I do? Goofy, goofy, goofy. Okay. Okay. Oops. So that one should look like that. Set that one aside. Now you want to grab your smaller zipper that we just did, and your interior piece, and you want to turn it so your curve is on the left and your tape is at the top. If you haven't put a piece of tape up there, do that now. I pre-taped most of my pieces. So you want to make sure that when you put this on, that this bottom edge of the zipper tab is even with that piece down there. Now I'm going to turn mine over since this is clear jelly vinyl, and I'm going to put mine, now I get my zippers from My Handmade Space or Sew Yours or Zipper Valley, and I think that they're pretty high quality zippers. So you will see a line right here. Here's a stitch mark for the zipper teeth that they put. And then there's a line that you can see. You can barely see it. You can see it better on the white and the black. I don't know why. But there's a line that's about 1/8 of an inch down from where they weave this here. I tried to match this up with that 1/8 of an inch line, the bottom of the 1/8 of an inch line. That way I know that my piece is on there good and straight, because their lines are perfectly straight. And that way I don't have to draw a chalk line on the back or anything like that. And you will have some hanging over, that's okay. So you want to do that. And then we're going to, you know what, I'm going to cut that off. I don't like that hanging there. I'm afraid that I didn't have a problem with my other one. Make that even with my zipper tape. There we go. Just don't, no I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and put my strip. Grab a strip, a 6-inch, 6.5 inch by 1/2 inch strip. And you want to put that butted up to the end. And again, you want to follow this line right here that you can see on your zipper. If you don't have these quality zippers, I find that if you get your zippers on Amazon, sometimes you can't tell where those lines are. So if you don't have a quality zipper, then you'll probably have to mark this somehow so you know, or measure it to know that it's 1/8 of an inch there. So we're going to stitch at 1/8 of an inch all the way up to this top, and then all the way up to this top on this side. That'll tack that that zipper strip down. That's gonna drive me nuts. Now you can tack over and then go down. That's fine. Let's try it. Let's see how good I can get here. Okay. Woohoo! That looks pretty good. So it will look like that. And then we'll take our little side piece. You want to make sure that your corner is over here. Well, if we flip it around. We're going to do this the same way. Scratch that idea. we are going to turn this like that. And same thing, you want to line this edge up with the edge of that zipper tape and line the long edge up with that line that they have on the zipper. That's 1/8 of an inch away from the zipper stitching. Okay. We're going to take our other tab. And we're going to do the same thing. Line it up. Place it down. Starting me nuts. There. So 1/8 of an inch on this side, all the way up to the edge. If anybody's interested where I got my clear jelly, the printed, I got it from Bolts, Bags, and Faws. She has a Facebook group that every Sunday she sells fabric. She has vinyl. She has bunches and bunches of like the alligator and reptile print vinyls. She has bunches of clear vinyls with prints. She has some cotton. She's got lots. She's got zipper tape. She's got hardware. And she does like an auction type thing on Sundays. And she'll have so many of these. But this is how she used to do it. I haven't been on her channel in probably a couple of months. But she used to do an auction, and she'd have so many of these. And the first people, like say she had 10 of these rolls. And her rolls are 18 by 54. Say she had 10 of these rolls, the first 10 people that responded, you know, I want one, or me, or whatever, would get that. And you have 21, she invoices you, you have 24 hours to pay, and she has very high quality. This is very soft and pliable to work with. It's not hard and sticky like a lot of the other clear printed vinyls that I have seen. And I think she does have a website, or you can just go on her Facebook page and go through what she has and email her, and if she has stuff available, say, do you still have some of this available? She'll say, yeah. And you can say, you know, can I please get 2 rolls, or 1 roll of this and 1 roll of that? And she'll respond to you. She usually responds pretty quickly. She used to respond to me within like 4 hours. And then she'd send me my invoice, and then I'd pay within 24 hours. And then the only thing is there's a time frame of getting your stuff, because a lot of it's pre-ordered. Sometimes she has stuff on in her store, in her warehouse, because they did get a new warehouse last year. Now the ones that she does on her auction are available right away. I do know that. So it'll look like this. You have your zipper, like that. Then you want to grab your front lining piece, which will be your color vinyl. I'm using this light peach. Just you would with a normal zippy pouch. Line this all up, lay that on there. Now I have to cut this one down a little because I used the actual pattern. I tried to, because you are laying this like this and not doing the regular way that you sew and fold it over, you may have some extra hanging over. So I just go ahead and trim it off. It's no big deal. Just if you find that you have to trim off the lining piece, you may want to rethink what you're doing. Make sure what you're trimming off is this piece here. Okay, so that's what it'll look like. And we are going to put our top band on, which is cut the same size as what the pattern is. You want to pull your zipper down, and you want to line that up. Sure you do, Jeannie. There you go. I usually cut my pieces like 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch longer and always trim them off. These, for some reason, I don't know why. Okay, you're going to stitch at 1/4 of an inch all the way across. And you're going to take this and you're going to trim this down. Make sure you take this and just touch the edge, any edge that you see of your zipper tape. Melt it so it doesn't fray. Then you just flip this up like you normally would on a Zippy Clutch. And you're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch all the way across. I'm going to increase my length. And make sure you pull that. Now you don't have to pull quite so tight on this as you do when you do the others, because it's jelly vinyl and you're not going to get it. You're going to have a little lip there, but it doesn't matter. Just a tiny little lip in there. Okay. And then you want to stitch all the way around here like you normally would. that's what you should have so far. You have your pocket piece, and your pocket over here. Okay, so now we will go and put the zipper top on and the back and sew it together, and we're just about done. So what I do is I measure in 3/4 of an inch on each side. Inch. Make a mark. Three-quarters of an inch and make a mark. You also want to, now I do not do the butler method because I don't do the butler method. Let's just leave it at that. I do it the old way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this on here, and I'm going to determine where my bottom is going to lay. So I want to make my mark. You can do the butler method on this if you like, by all means, but I do not. I just pull mine apart and bend them down that way. I mean, I'm not even perfect with this way either, so yeah. But this way comes out a lot better than the butler method for me. I got to practice more on the butler method. And I don't have patience with myself. I have all kinds of patience with other people, but myself, don't know why that is. So then, and for some reason when I do these marks, they rarely come out the same, so I have to kind of finagle it to see where, whoop, sugar. So whatever works for you, that's what I say, instead of struggling. If something works for you and it looks goofy for somebody else, hey, that's that's their problem. That's what I say. If it works for you, it works for you. There. See, mine come out a lot better doing it that way. Okay, so enough of that. I'm going to clip those off, but I don't clip really close. And I also burnt mine to melt them down so they don't fray. And you just want to touch your okay. So, oh, I put my tape on the wrong side. Poop. Okay, you want your tape in between your markings. And you want to take this piece, sorry, you want your zipper to be upside down. There you go. Do, 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 do. There. Your zipper's upside down. And I sew about 1/8 of an inch away from those zipper teeth. This line right here, that's where they sewed the zipper teeth on. That's how I can get a non-wiggly zipper. If I sew anything farther away than that, I get a wiggly zipper. Want to go over that zipper tab. Oh, come on, baby. Now, I want to fold this up. And you want just 1/8 of an inch between this and your zipper teeth. Okay, so look like that. You did the top side. You're not putting any lining on here. So what I do is I don't pre-mark this piece. I go by what this is. That way I know I've got it right on. So I am going to turn this over. Make sure you got your edges matched up, which I do. And I'm going to mark where that's going to be, where I want to put my tape. And I'm going to mark over here where I want to put my tape. And my tape only goes in between those marks. I just got three rolls of this from Will Walk in the mail Thursday, and 5 rolls of the 1/4 inch, and this roll, first roll, is dwindling down very fast. So then you want to take this and place it right so your edge of your zipper tape is, put this up first, edge of your zipper tape is even with the edge of that exterior piece, and make sure that this curve, if you do your zippers my way, is on that line. Okay, so now pull this up if I can. This part's kind of tricky. Okay. Oopsie. All right. And then that matched up. So now we are going to sew up against that 1/8 of an inch mark on the zipper. Zipper. It's not quite on the edge there. There we go. I got some bluebies here. I have to look at my machine when I'm done with this. See what the heck's going on. It's not my tension, it's something with my bobbin. Okay. Then we are going to top stitch this one. And this side's going to be just a little bit easier because the clear jelly, like I said, her clear jelly is a lot more pliable than what most people's is. It's not stiff and yeah. It's easy to work with. You just set 1/8 of an inch. Then so it'll look like that. See how straight that zipper is? No wiggly. That's that's not the right piece. Here it is. Then we want to take our 1-inch wide piece, and you don't have to do this. You can leave it like that if you want, but I just think it gives it a little bit extra. And if you use a different kind of thread, it'll cover this up. It should cover that up. My first one I only did it a 1/2 inch, and I noticed that thread was showing, and I used black thread on that, on a pink jelly vinyl, and yeah, I didn't like it. So I determined that I would make my next ones 1 inch instead of 1/2 inch. But if you want to make it 1/2 inch, go ahead. It's your bag. So you line that up on the edge of there, just like that, and it might hang over. That's okay. You can trim it off over here or over there, whichever. So just don't put it so close that it's going to interfere with your zipper. That's the only thing. Ooh, that rose gold looks beautiful with that. Nice fall colors. Then you do 1/8 of an inch here and 1/8 of an inch here. So trim that down. And I'm going to trim this one down. Okay. All right. So it'll look like that right now. Whoops. You want to open this up at least halfway. Put them right sides together. I don't like that. Cutting that off. I've never had that happen before. Okay. So you want to take this and pinch it. And make sure that these tops here line up. Then you clip it. And then you go over here and make sure that these tops line up and that your zippers line up. And you clip it. Now, you will find out that you will have some overhang here. That's fine. You can just trim it down. You can trim it down now, or you can wait until you sew your bag together. I trim mine down now because I get confused. And yeah. Judge the wrong thing for my 3/8 inch measurement. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that down now. You can cut it with your scissors. You can cut it with your rotary cut. Take it over your table, cut it with your rotary cutter. It don't matter. It don't matter if they do. Okay. See, no big deal. It's not gonna affect anything. Now, I'm gonna try and be brave and do this without clipping it. You want 3/8 inch seam allowance. Now, I am not using this tape as a measure thing because I know where my 3/8 inch is. I have used this machine long enough that I know where my 3/8 is. I'm using this to protect my jelly vinyl. And I am going to go around this twice. Ooh, I did not like that. What did I do? Hang on. Okay, excuse me. So I fixed that. So you will find out that when you work with jelly vinyl, it is very forgiving. If you make a mistake like I just did and you catch it right away, you can take those little bit of threads out. And if you take your blow dryer and put it on there to heat it up and just kind of rub it, it'll close those holes back up. Same thing with the clear vinyl. This stuff is very forgiving that way in making a little mistake. Now, if you make a huge mistake, that's a whole other problem. Hi there, Molly. What's it doing? You watching Mama? Huh? Are you watching Mama? You trying to help? I see your nose. I see your nose. Yes, I do. I see your nose. Okay, so we got that done. Now we're going to go back and go around it. And you're going to go a scant 1/8 of an inch away from that line. And I don't normally backstitch on that second time around. Okay, so we got these, got those. Yeah, my machine is really knotting in the beginning and the end. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, so I'm gonna take to the edges here. Okay. Now, I do cut mine down a little bit, just a little tiny bit. stitching's kind of wonky there. Usually I do it enough to cut off that basting stitch. But I got kind of close there. Can't get all of that. And I also snip my corners. Make sure that you don't get into your seam, or you'll have a hole in your corner. Okay. Then I open it up the rest of the way, and I go get my blow dryer. So let me go get my blow dryer and plug it in, and I'll show you what I do. Okay, what I usually do is I have my bag inside, right side in, wrong side out. And before I turn it, I will put my blow dryer on hot and medium blowing. I'll stick it inside my bag. Especially point it towards those corners, because that's what's gonna be hard to turn. Make sure it's not melting. Turn it off. And it makes it a lot more pliable. So you can turn it. And I will do that a couple of times too. Yeah, just like that. Don't put it like this, because you can melt it, and you don't want to do that. Just do that until you can get everything worked out. I might try one of these with a square bottom. Like a 1.5 inch square bottom. Now right here, you will probably have to clip it. That's what I had to do with mine. One more shot. go. So what I did with mine, oops, or what I do with mine, this is how I did my other ones. I flattened it as much as I could. Then I stuck these hair clip thingies on them to try and flatten it out, but it really didn't. It flattened it out a little bit, but not as much as I would have liked, but it still looks pretty. I mean, it's still usable. If you like the other Zippy clutches, I'm sure you'll like this one. And then I just kind of let it set for a little bit. And now I'm going to make my my wristlet. Okay, so what I did for my wristlet, I put tape on the edge. I measured this 1.5, I think it's 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 by 14. I just put tape on one side. Then I matched this up, just folded it in half and taped it down. So it's like that. Like that. Then I stitch 1/8 of an inch here and 1/8 of an inch on this flat edge. I usually do the flatter edge first. That way I know it's stuck together and it's not going to come apart when I'm doing the other side. Do this other side. Okay, then I will go get my okay, I don't know if the camera turned off or what. Okay, so this is what I do. I take it like this, fold it over, I put this on there like that, and then I take this and fold it over. and then I punch a hole in it with this. Then I put my rivet on. Put my rivet in here. I'm going to put it in one at a time because my hand is bothering me today, so. I've got a bad hand from accident I had last year. If you've been on my channel, you've seen me wear a brace on my hand sometimes when I sew or cut or. Okay. So that one's not one that go through too well. Come on, baby. Come on. There we go. Put the cap on. Set it on your rivet press. And press it. And it'll look like that. So then you can attach it to your bag on the zipper. Like that. See? Okay, let's take these off and see what this looks like. There we go. Oh, I don't like that. A little bit of a hair. And that is the Jelly Vinyl Zippy Clutch.